Well, g'day, my name is Quinn Askland. I'm from Work Gateways, and today I wanted to talk about getting a settlement visa, commonly known as a spouse visa for the UK. And, well, as you may know, getting a spouse visa can be really challenging. We literally get emails every day, all kinds of questions. So to help really cut through a lot of the challenges that people are faced with and, you know, talk about just some of the things that you can do to make it a lot easier, I wanted to bring on a man who knows a lot about how to get settled into the UK. His name is Sam Hopwood. He's from a company called First Contact, who we work with quite a lot and we really enjoy working with. They're very good at helping people to get settled into the UK. Welcome Sam, great to have you.
Thanks, Quinn. Pleasure to be here.
You're a registered migration agent for the UK, I understand.
I am. I've been working in this space, doing visas for the UK, helping people for almost 11 years now. The business First Contacts, we've been in operation for just over 20 years, helping people relocate and settle into the UK. As a business and as an individual, we've got a lot of experience in UK immigration and visas. Hopefully we can help some of your listeners today sort of navigate their way through obtaining a settlement visa for the UK.
Yeah, awesome. Let's get straight into it. Look, what are the main challenges someone's faced with? I guess that's a good place to start.
Yeah, sure. Look, we receive a lot of phone calls every day from people who are on the website trying to do it themselves, and they're confused. And they're confused with all sorts of things, but I mean, first thing off the bat they're confused with is which category am I applying for? What's it called? What's actual visa called? And as you said in your introduction, it's referred to as a settlement visa. You're applying under a settlement category. In the trade, we refer to it as a spouse visa. So it's a partner or a spouse visa applied for within the settlement category. And then within the visa itself, there's a number of different criteria that people are trying to meet. And within the spouse visa, there is what's referred to as a financial criteria. And the financial criteria is what is confusing most people. It's what's resulting in most people being refused the visa. So I think that's where a lot of people get confused. The policy for the financial criteria I've got here, it's 67 pages long at the moment. It gets added to every few months. They publish a new edition when they add new notes to it. So for someone who's doing the application for the first time and they start reading the 67 pages of notes on the financial criteria, they get confused. And they get confused on which part of the financial criteria applies to them, if it applies at all, and how to apply it to their particular situation. There's a number of different subcategories within the financial criteria that may or may not apply. So people call up asking all sorts of questions that mainly relate to the financial criteria. So that's probably where a lot of confusion arises. There's a lot of confusion just in the terminology which is used. So, for example, a common question is, am I or do I have to be settled in the UK as a British citizen in order to sponsor my partner? Because all the terminology or the policy refers to the British person being a settled person. And a settled person just means that you have the right to remain in the UK on an indefinite basis. You may not be in the UK at that point in time, you don't have to be. But it's just an example of terminology which confuses people. So I'd say the first thing that really throws people off track is the financial criteria, getting their head around it. And from there, a lot of it's logistics and actually how do you navigate the website? How do you apply online? Within the website, there's drop-down boxes that allow you to apply for different visa categories, and just getting the right sequence of drop-down boxes in itself can confuse a lot of people. And then there's actually, you have to attend a physical appointment. So where is your closest visa application centre? It's booked through a separate website, so people get confused there. They do their first stage of the application on one website, but then you've got to switch onto a second website. So the logistics of doing that application and navigating from one website to the other in itself can be confusing. And I think what the big problem is there's no support out there. I mean, the British consulates around the world are not there to assist you and to facilitate your visa application. If you do manage to speak to someone at a British consulate, they will tell you that unfortunately all the information's on the website, and it's up to you as an individual to decipher that information. There is a phone number that you can call, and you'll go through to a call centre in the UK somewhere, and basically they will tell you that, again, they can't assist you, they can't answer any specific questions for you. And therein lies another problem, which is if you get something wrong, if you submit your application and there's something incorrect in your application form or in your documents, then unfortunately the Visa Application Processing Centre, which for Australian citizens or New Zealand citizens, the Visa Application Processing Centre is in Manila, in the Philippines. So it's not just down the road, you can't call Manila and speak to them. But if Manila are processing your application and there's something wrong in your application, unfortunately they won't contact you to ask you to correct it or to provide further documents. They will more commonly than not refuse your application and then send all your documents back to you and let you then try and get it right for a second time. And the problem with being refused is this application costs a lot of money. I mean, their visa application fee is £1,195 British pounds currently as we speak. And if you get refused, then you have to apply again, and you have to pay their fee again and again and again until you get it right. Which
can be an absolute nightmare for somebody who's, maybe got their partner overseas, for example.
Absolutely. I've got a client on the go at the moment, a lady. She lives in Adelaide. She's got 2 children, and her husband's currently in the UK. Now, part of the financial criteria in some people's circumstances means that the British citizen needs to earn a certain amount of money and they need a job offer in the UK. So this man, the British citizen, her husband's gone to the UK to get a job so that they can satisfy the financial criteria. She then applies for the visa for herself and her 2 children. So that's over £3,000 in visa application fees. This lady also opted to use the priority system, so that's an additional £450 per applicant. So she's up to about £4,000 or over £4,000 in application fees. She calls me distraught one morning. She's not my client at this stage. She's been refused the visa. So again, she didn't understand the financial criteria. She hadn't read the 67 pages that you need to read to understand what's going on, and she'd been refused. And so she's got to start all over again. Now, she's got a lot of other things in her life that she needs to be concentrating on, her 2 children. She's at the moment moving out of a rental property. She's in between properties. She's got to get to the UK. Her husband's in the UK, so she's got a lot of other stuff on her mind at the moment, a lot of stresses in her life. And in addition to that, she's now got to apply for visas again for herself and her children, and she's got to spend another £4,000, and that's unfortunately unavoidable for her at the moment. So yeah, really unfortunate, but a really common story. I mean, people call us every week, or almost every day, to say that they've done their own application, they've been refused, and what do they do now?
And we get those emails too, Sam, and that's really why I wanted to bring you on to explain, some of the challenges that are there, so that people are aware that, they've really got to get these things right, especially if they're going to do it themselves. And I also want to talk a little bit about, how you guys can help somebody get through the process. Obviously, you've got a service there that can help people save a lot of this potential issues down the track, and
sure.
I know that for somebody who's maybe doing their homework, they can probably do a fair bit themselves initially, and they start to understand that there's a lot more to it, and that's where it might be worth calling you guys. Is that how it works? How does it work with you? Where do you engage somebody?
For sure. Look, we do all our work under what's referred to as a no visa, no fee guarantee. So we guarantee all our work, guarantee the success of an application should you engage our services. So the first thing that we do is we just want to have a chat with you. We want to talk to you. We want to understand your circumstances, understand what visa it is that you qualify for. It might be a spouse visa, it might be a right of abode, it might be something else. So let's just define the correct category that you do qualify for, and the manner in which you qualify for that visa. So we want to be 100% certain before we even offer you our services that you do qualify for the visa. And if you do, great, we'll then offer you services. If you wish to engage our services, then you'll sign our terms, pay a fee, and we'll then send you clear instructions, detailed instructions on the documents that you need to start arranging. And then what happens, doesn't really matter where you are in Australia, in New Zealand, around the world. Doesn't really matter. All applications that we deal with now are done online. So you'll send us your documents electronically, you'll scan and email documents to us, we'll save them, build a digital file on you at our end, and check all your documents as we go, advise you on any changes that need to be made to the documents. Once we're satisfied that you have the correct set of documents and everything is correct, we'll then set up your online forms for you, make sure you're applying within the correct categories, get those drop-down boxes right within the Visas for UK website. Book your appointment for you, tell you where and how to attend, what documents to take with you, prepare you, and basically we'll just guide you throughout the whole application process, doing as much for you as we can, and advising you on anything you need to do that we can't do for you. And like I say, our service is a guaranteed service. If you're not successful in getting the visa, then we haven't done our job right. We need to then refund you any fees that you've paid to us. So it gives the client a bit of peace of mind that we've bought into this process as well. This process needs to be a successful one for us and for the client. Otherwise, it's all for nothing. And it's for that reason that we don't offer services to people who don't qualify, because it's a waste of their time and ours. If you don't qualify, then it might be a matter of you having to do something to prepare yourselves in months' time to ensure that you do qualify. And for a lot of spouse visa clients, it's like that. It's like, okay, you don't qualify today, but there's certain things you can do now to put into place so that in the future you will qualify.
That's a really good point. Yeah, okay. And how long would the process take typically?
Yes, it does depend a lot on individual clients and how quickly they move and how quickly they put things together. But typically speaking, once clients have the correct set of documents together, they can be attending an appointment within a matter of days and submitting their application. And just so everyone understands, there's an online form that needs to be completed that we do for you, and then there's what is referred to as a biometric interview, which is attended by the visa applicant themselves. And at that appointment, they submit biometric data, which is their digital fingerprints and a digital photograph. That appointment is not conducted by the British authorities. That's not the UK consulate that you're visiting with. It's a third party which has been outsourced by the British authorities, who are just there predominantly to collect your documents and your biometric data. You hand everything over at that appointment, and from that appointment your documents then get couried to the processing centre, which is in Manila in the Philippines. Now for this particular category of visa, standard processing can take anywhere up to 12 weeks. At the moment, we find it's roughly about 6 weeks. That's standard processing. If you wish to use the priority processing service, it's available. At the moment, it costs an additional £450, and in that case, they'll process your visa in 10 days. So the turnaround is good. Processing time is consistently good at 10 days, should you choose to use the priority processing. And to be honest, most people do. Most people just want it over and done with. They want to get their visa so that they can then start planning the rest of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I can completely understand how that would be the case. Yeah, look, really appreciate having you on, Sam. I think you've really hit the nail on the head in terms of some of the challenges that people are faced with, and I'm sure people that are watching this can relate. I also just wanted to mention that below this video you'll find links to information about how you can learn get a lot of this free stuff, such as that document that Sam showed. So if you're thinking of doing it all yourself, the free stuff is there, but we've also got a form on our website where you can submit a question to get the ball rolling easily and engage with Sam and his team. You've got offices all over the world, I know, Sam, so it's not just yourself.
We do, that's right. I'm in Melbourne, Australia, but we've got offices in London and we've got offices in Cape Town, South Africa, and like I said earlier, we can literally facilitate applications from anywhere around the world.
Yeah, exactly, so that's terrific. Look, Can't thank you enough again, Sam. I think you've pointed out some of the potential challenges and also a very clear way to make it a lot easier, which and a lot of less stress. And I think from a financial point of view, it makes just good sense to engage someone like yourselves to make it happen a lot easier.
It's a big investment that people are making in their future, and it's something that they, before they go into it headlong themselves, they should probably consider at least talking to a registered migration agent and finding out what services, whether they contact us or another agent, talk to a registered migration agent and find out, do they qualify and what does the service cost like ours, and maybe it's a good investment in their time and their future.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sam.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Quinn.